sold 10 million albums around the world. They've won 8 Enemy Awards, 2 Brits and a Grammy. They have the most devoted fans on the planet, and they're one of the most explosively exciting live bands ever. This is the incredible story of Muse, as told by the pages of Enemy. These days we're used to Muse being supermassive global stars. It's easy to forget that back in 1999 there were just 3 skinny Devon boys who everyone thought sounded a bit like Radiohead. Matt Bellamy, Dom Howard and Chris Wolstenholme formed in 1992 when they were still all teenagers. But it wasn't until their debut self-titled EP was released 6 years later that the wider world started to take notice. In February 1998 they bagged their first feature in Enemy. The writer of the piece was Mark Beaumont.
Immediately I think they were one of those bands that really captured the imagination, and you could tell they were going to be massive. They just had that essence to them. I don't think it was until Plug-in Baby came along that you knew that they were definitely going to make it. But when you'd see them live in those early shows, they would just go mad on stage. I mean, just incredible. Matt would just go mental. He'd just smash everything up at the end of every show. Because they wanted to do these massive gigs, these massive productions, but they couldn't afford anything, so the best they could do was just go wild and chuck cymbals about and just make themselves as much of a spectacle as they could.
Their debut album Showbiz, released the following year, was good enough to earn Muse the Enemy Award for Best New Band. At the ceremony they performed alongside another fledgling band who just released their debut album called Coldplay. But if their early trajectory mimicked that of Chris Martin and co, Muse were about to become a very different sort of rock band indeed.
Oasis combined with the Verve, people like that had sort of ground music down to this slow, sort of stompy sludge. And here were Muse coming through sounding with certain metal elements to them, and metal and pop elements, and making something that really was, yeah, it did stand out. It was quite bright and vibrant.
Origin of Symmetry, released in June 2001, saw them tackle far heavier and more distinctive material. Suddenly, everything was turned up to 11. And nowhere more so than on the lead single Plug-in Baby, featuring a guitarist that's gone on to become one of the most recognisable of the 21st century. Enemy was suitably blown away, writing that Origin of Symmetry burns with a genuinely new art punk rage. By now, Muse had graduated from playing toilet venues to big arenas and were fast earning a reputation as the best live band around.